everyone has the potential to be funny. If you really don't want to be funny, if you don't value it, if you don't appreciate it, it's probably not the best way to go for now.
Yeah.
But if you're open to it,
Hey, everybody. I am so excited because I have my friend Rita Desnoyers-Garcia with us today. And I want to welcome you to the podcast. Please introduce yourself and tell my audience a little bit about you.
well, thank you so much for having me, first of all, Chitra. So my name is Rita Desnoyers-Garcia. I'm a mother of three. I'm a coach. I'm a social worker by trade. And for a long time, I've been very interested in working with women. I think we get interested in the thing that we have to work on the most. Sometimes we teach what we need to learn, and I was always trying to figure myself out. So that's what brought me to, I really want to work with women and women potential, which led me to professional moms, because I became a professional mom. And then there's just so much going on in that life, right? When you're raising children and you're doing a job, or you have hobbies and you social life and you have all these things going on. And I found myself in a kerfuffle, if you will, around that with three small children, and got help for it through coaching, and decided, you know what, I want to help other women as they go through that. So just to skip through all the other stuff, what I do now is I work with stressed out professional high achieving women, and I teach them how to laugh at what drives them nuts. Stand-up comedy and other exercises that helps you laugh and calm your nervous system so that you can get into the part of your brain that actually can help you solve problems.
I love that. That is amazing. And I don't know anyone else that is doing that. And so when you told me this, I was so excited because, sometimes we, especially when we're going through difficult times, we end up taking ourselves and our lives so seriously that we forget to laugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, right?
That doesn't help. It's not good for your health. It's not good for your relationships. It's not good for your parenting. It's not good for your job.
Yeah. Because if you're not happy, chances are everyone around you is not happy either. So this is so important. And I'm so glad that we're having this conversation. So tell me a little bit about how you got into comedy. And maybe even before that, can we talk a little bit about, how, you might have had some mindset challenges of your own. Really, how do you tackle mindset?
Okay. So I've been interested in mindset for a long time. So I would say since the 80s and 90s, which is long for our generation.
Since you were a baby.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was because there were so many times where I was trying to engineer something in my mind, or do something, or do a project. And I noticed that when I was really stressed out, when I was having thoughts like, I don't know if this is going to happen, maybe this is impossible, I'm not very good at this. I had a lot of things around incompetence, like I was just so afraid of how incompetent I was, that I was working against myself. And then, of course, I was creating the exact things that I was afraid were going to happen. Right? This is what we do. We create the circumstances and the situations that a lot of times we fear the most. And one day it occurred to me through lots of teachers, sometimes you have to hear things a million times too. Before you get it, is that, your attitude, your mindset, how you're thinking about yourself, the situation, makes a huge difference in how it all unfolds and how you respond to it. And that if you are hopeful, if you are looking for options, if you are open, if you are of the mindset that this is possible, let's see how far we can get with it, and notice your progress versus constantly looking at the gap between where you are and where you want to be. The ride is not just more successful and more what you want it to be, but it's more fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Working, going upstream all the time.
Yeah. It's so many things that you touched upon, right? I mean, your attitude determines what will happen. What you think about, you bring about, right? I always say that. Yes. So if you're thinking about the misery and the the pain and the suffering, then that's what you're bringing about. And it's so hard to make that shift in that moment when you feel like everything is stacked up against you. Right. So did you, when you realize that, okay, it is about my mindset, it is about my attitude. Um, was there something specific that you were struggling with that you would be open to talking about? And B, once you found out, how did you start to make that shift? Because it's one thing to know what to do, but then how do we make that shift?
Yeah. Well, there were different times in my life where I was dealing with maybe different belief systems, but a big one for me was when I became a mom.
Mm.
So I know I remember I was in therapy for 7 years before I met my husband. And when I terminated therapy, my therapist said, the door is always open. You'll probably come back when you have kids.
Good for you for getting that help early on. I love it.
Oh yeah. Well, I was in social work school, so it was sort of required. You have
Good.
to,
Yeah. I think it should
and I
be
needed
required for everyone.
it was the perfect storm. I needed it and it was required. So there you go.
Love it.
Um, so right around when I had kids and they were really small, I definitely was trying to run my life full cylinders on everything. And I was like the guy who's spinning the plates, right? There's always a plate that's going to be wobbly and is about to go. And it's impossible. It was an
Yeah.
impossible um, situation the way I was doing it, right? And I also had less stories in my mind about what it meant to have this, that, or the other. I was going to retire my husband. That was my dream. I was going to retire my husband so that he could be having dinner with us because he worked late a lot. And I thought, if I can just retire him, everything's solved.
Yeah. You've achieved the dream. Yeah.
I achieved the dream. I was saving my family.
I
But what
love
I was really doing was like destroying and causing more problems in my family because I wasn't really paying attention to my kids at all. I didn't have the proper help. I was doing something that I didn't necessarily like or was good at, but I just thought this is the thing you're supposed to do.
Mm.
And my husband didn't want to be retired. I never thought of even asking him.
Oh, wait, what? He didn't?
No, he wasn't
Unbelievable.
even like, I didn't even clue him in what I was doing. It was just this whole story in my mind, right? And
Yeah.
even he would say to me, are you having a good time with this? You know what you're doing? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm having a great time. I'm
Yeah.
having a great time. I'm so happy. I was really
Yeah.
struggling. And
Wow.
then one day it all imploded and I got basically a phone call that was really telling me that things were not going, they were down the toilet. They were not doing well. And I muted the phone and I sat on the floor and I started to cry.
Wow.
And then kids were running around the house and they started to cry. And then all of the hidden beliefs that I had pushed under the water like a beach ball came up. You're a failure.
Mm.
You don't know what you're doing. Here you are again, quitting after 6 months. What a loser. Blah,
Mm.
blah, 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 blah. And I cried. And the whole afternoon, it was basically a cry with me and my kids because they saw me crying and then they were crying and we were all crying together. One of the best things
Wow.
that ever could have happened, I think, because
Mm.
you don't usually change things in your life until you're in enough pain.
Yeah.
And so that afternoon, I said, something's got to change. I can't do this anymore. And I found a coach through a book called Belief Works and the
Mm.
Power of Belief, written by Ray Dodd. And he had coach proteges.
Mm.
So I worked with one of the coaches. And one of the first things he said to me was, can you be kind and gentle with yourself right now?
Wow.
And I thought, what's the point of that? I don't get it. I don't get it. What's your game, dude?
How's that
I want
going
to
to help?
How was I going to help? A pity party. And he goes, just hear me out. Just for 30 seconds. Don't beat yourself up. Just be kind and gentle. So I was like, all right,
Mm.
do it. So for 30 seconds, I just sat there and I stopped beating myself up. And I noticed this quiet came up and then a lot of emotion, a lot
Mm.
of relief. Like, oh my gosh, this is what it feels like when you stop hitting your head against the wall.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
absence of pain.
Mm.
And I hired him right there. I'm like, look, you made me cry. You're hired.
Right.
I had no idea what was coming, but I knew that that was an important watershed moment for me, that this
Mm,
is probably going to be something I'm going to return back to. And sure enough, I had to come back to it and back to it. That was always the starting point. Can you be kind and gentle
yeah.
with yourself?
Yeah.
That's what started a whole coaching practice built on self compassion.
I love it. And I love that you said how he said to you just for 30 seconds, right? Because sometimes it's all so overwhelming and so big and so huge in our minds that we can't even imagine if someone just told you, okay, from now on, you're going to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
That's like too big and too vast and too vague. Right. But now
Yeah.
when someone says 30 seconds, that's
Yeah.
solid. Like we can do anything for 30 seconds.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Right. Yeah. I used to say that in the gym a lot, like when I was training people and they were trying to start running, I'm like, let's just run for 30 seconds. See how you feel.
Yes.
As
Yes.
slow as you need to be, just 30
Yes.
seconds. And so I think that it's such a small thing, but it's so powerful. So I'm glad you shared that. I think
Yeah.
it will help a lot of people.
And it
Yeah.
was a seed that really just went all over the place. In fact, I
Flourish.
wrote a book on it right there on
Oh, wow.
self compassion project that became
Okay.
the seed to almost all of my well, really is all of my coaching, but then I went on different branches from.
I love it. I love it. So now you are doing something called Finding the Funny, which is what I want to talk all about. And I want to hear how you got there, how it started. Tell me everything about Finding the Funny.
Okay. So I come from a funny family. My dad was always telling jokes. It was kind of like currency in our home. We were 8
Mm,
people in the home, and one way to get attention was to be funny. And I distinctly remember being 2 or 3 years old, and I said something, I don't know what it was, and everyone smiled and laughed. And I thought, more of this, please. This is
yeah.
powerful. So that's always been woven into my life. In 2017, I decided to take actually a little step away from my coaching and to do something on my bucket list. And one of the things was to take a stand-up comedy course.
Hmm.
So I'd done sketch comedy and musical stuff. I'd never done stand-up. So I took this course at the adult school, petrified. I was petrified. Okay.
I can imagine.
Even it was the adult school, and they were teaching folk guitar in the next classroom. I was like, you would think I was doing an HBO special, right? You've never done something, it can feel really scary.
Yes.
So the instructor was great. 6 weeks where you just got behind a microphone, everyone took turns and talked about funny stories. You just talked about yourself and what you thought was funny and how to write a joke and how to do a funny story. And what I didn't anticipate in this course was that it really helped focus me on what's funny right now. What's the funny
Mm,
which I kind of did naturally, but because I knew at the end of 6 weeks we're doing a show and I have to come up with 5 minutes of material, I got serious about being funny. I
I
got,
love it.
you know what I mean, a very focused
Yeah. Yeah.
lens. It became even more intensified of like, okay, my kid just put something up her nose. That's hilarious. All right, we're going to be in the emergency room, but there's going to be something hilarious that goes
Yeah.
on. Just something my husband says off the cuff, or trying to untangle my earbuds or whatever from my purse while I'm drinking a coffee and things are going all over the place. Like you just start to see the ridiculousness of a lot of your day,
Yeah.
whether
So
it's
powerful.
routine or unusual. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
we don't do that enough, right? We don't do that enough
don't.
and
And
especially when we're struggling, then we're not even like,
yes,
we can't even take a joke, let alone make a joke. Right.
yes. Well, sometimes it takes a little time. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's hard to do in the moment, and you have to a little separation, and then you look at it and go, "Yeah, that was pretty messed up, man."
Yeah.
Which is one of the great things about humor is that they talk about observational humor. It makes you the observer,
Yeah.
which is
That's
a
so
big part of
cool.
mindset, right? Don't get caught up in it. Look at it
Yeah.
from a little bit of a distance and you have a bigger perspective. So I took this course, I did the show, magical night. And and my whole set was about being a mom.
Mm,
After my set, I went to the back of the comedy club and having my little celebratory glass of wine and feeling really good that I did this really scary thing. And this woman comes up to me and she says, I have 3 kids too. I never go out. I came here to see one of the other comedians, but I have to say, I laughed so hard at your jokes, I almost peed my pants. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, that's high praise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I helped someone tonight. I helped him
Amazing.
not feel so crazy. She connected with me. She related. She released. She almost peed herself,
Actually released.
She actually released.
Almost.
But emotionally, she was able to
Sure.
have a good time and get out and go, oh, I really needed that. And I
What a
could see
gift.
her in my own life. So I
Yeah.
was like, this is not just for me. Fast forward after I'd produced some shows and did a lot of side comedy around New Jersey. We have the whole shutdown, right? No performance around COVID. And then it starts to open up. And I say, I want to do a mom show. I think
Mm,
ready to be together again. So I did this little tiny, it was literally in an office
mm.
that someone helped me. She lent her office to us. And it was 5 moms, and we did a stand-up show. And one of the moms had never done stand-up before. She had an awesome time. And a few months later, she said, would you ever consider teaching this? Because I had such a good time. I learned so much. And I think
Wow.
you're a natural teacher at this. So I started my first class in her house with 4 women.
Nice.
And that revealed how transformative it is for other people to learn this. Because all of
Yeah.
these women, no one had a comedy background. They were just like, yeah, I'll try that. All of them were petrified, shaken like a leaf, or just nervous about, is this going to help me? Did I make a right decision?
Yeah.
So we did this together. And I noticed, women come into the class like, oh my God, what a week.
Yeah.
And I go behind the mic and tell us about it. And they would go, and then the exaggeration would start, right? Which is part of comedy, and the characters and all of that funny stuff. And people would start laughing, then they would start laughing. And one woman said, every week I come in here with something that drives me nuts, and I realize it's part of my set. It is just material for my set. And I said,
Everything's material.
you have just figured it out. That's the secret to life right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So good. Oh my God. I'm having so many thoughts right now as you're telling us about this. Um, do you find that when you start these sessions for stand-up comedy, or helping people find the funny in their life, do you think that everybody can do that? Do you think everybody can be funny? Because I feel like that would be the first thought that comes to my mind. Like, am I really funny? Like, can I be funny? I don't know. I mean, because in my house, funny is also the currency. And I love that you use that word currency, but it's more so with my father-in-law, my son, my husband. And so I always feel like I'm not funny enough, right? Because they
Oh,
always
yeah.
have the quick
Comedy
jokes.
competition. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I'll never be as funny as them, right? So how do you tackle like people who are dealing
I
with those
think
thoughts?
everyone has the potential to be funny. If you really don't want to be funny, if you don't value it, if you don't appreciate it, it's probably not the best way to go for now.
Yeah.
But if you're open to it, I did have one student who was like, I'm not funny, but I want to take your class because I really need it, like health wise. I need to laugh more and I need to find it. But just so you know, I may be your toughest student. And I was like, all right, game on, let's do it. And she came in and she was open. In the first class, she was very like, nope, nope, nope. And I could, you can see when someone's in resistance. So I said,
Mm,
why don't we take a break and we'll go to the next student? Because I always do it in groups. I went
right.
to the student, and the next student came up with a couple of ideas. And then we went back to her, and she's like, I have to confess something. I was going to leave the class. I was going to leave the class. I was so upset, and I could feel the tears welling up because, we're hitting at stuff, right?
Yeah.
And she said, but after hearing her jokes, I realized actually there are funny things in what I do.
Yeah.
And we started talking about it. And I'm like, yes. Like, to me,
That's
it was
it.
so obvious, but she started to see it. And she goes, I'm going to stay in the class. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to navigate. So for her, it was like a big
Huge. Yeah.
resistance and a
Yeah.
big identity thing. Like, no, I'm not a
Mm,
funny person, right? She's, like in this identity. And I'm like, but you could be, or you could just find the little things in here. You don't have to be the funniest person.
right.
And she
Yeah.
came back and she had a whole slew of jokes.
Amazing.
Now, she get help? Yes, she got
Mm,
help,
yeah.
right? Just like
Yeah.
as we all get help. But once she realized, oh, actually, I can make fun of that.
Yeah.
Then she started to open up. She was one of the best performances of the class.
Wow. Wow.
And she said, you know what? This has helped my business because sometimes it gets boring to talk about the same thing in the same way. And I have really important things to tell people. And when I can tell them in a joke or in a humorous way, it gets their attention. And I'm
Yes.
like, yeah,
Yes. Oh my God. I love it. I mean, it almost sounds like the whole process is so cathartic for people. Would you agree?
yes. It's therapeutic and cathartic. Even today, I'm like I said, I'm doing this show, my own show with a group of women, and we were just giggling. And you can
Yeah.
feel the energy change in the room
Absolutely.
because we're
Yeah.
just like leaning over and giggling and pointing
Yeah.
and we're like, yeah, you get it. We're just
W-
weird.
We're
That's what
just,
we're doing. We're
yeah.
just being ourselves
And
and we
everybody's going through stuff, right? That's the bottom line, too. It's like everybody's dealing with difficult times. So if we can find it in ourselves to have that perspective shift to say,
yes.
there is stuff I can laugh about. This is actually, it's so sometimes it's like it's so painful you can't really do anything but laugh because you,
Yes.
you don't know what
It's
else to feel,
ridiculous.
right? It's ridiculous.
Yes.
It's like, I mean, how much more can things go wrong? Let's just laugh about it, right?
Yeah.
And do you think that the group dynamic also helps? Because I feel like it would be such a enormous task to have all that pressure and attention on one person.
Yes. So one of the things that they have to acclimate to, because in the show they're going to be doing this, is if I do because I do classes in person and on Zoom. And on the
Okay.
Zoom, I what is that called when you make them the center square there? You make them the big
Yes, yes.
I forget what it's called.
Spotlight or pin them.
Spotlighting. I
Yeah.
spotlight them right away and I go, you just got to get used to it. It's okay. You'll be fine. Like you're gonna live. You're gonna live through the Zoom call. And at first it's like, oh, I'm so big. Oh, my hair. Oh, up. And then I go, just start reading your stuff, start reading the jokes or whatever it is. And when they hear a gig, ha, 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 they're like, oh, I'm connecting. Oh. And then I encourage everyone in the class to say what they liked and what they'd like to see more of and what they didn't quite understand or what could be done. And so it's very collaborative and supportive.
Mm,
Not like, oh, that sucked. That wasn't funny at all. It was, I really liked what you talked about in the kitchen. I want to hear two more ways that your kid did something cuckoo, or
mm.
I want, I want to hear more about what was going on in your head when
Wow.
the grocery clerk
Yeah,
said something weird to you,
I love
So
it.
it's encouraging more. And, it's humorous. So there is going to be exaggeration. There's going to be some little fiction going on here. And
Sure.
everyone understands that. But
Yeah,
it's also a way to get really direct about how you're doing. Comedy allows you to do that. It allows you to talk about things that sometimes are hard to talk about. But if you do it in a humorous way, it's like, boom, you can
yeah,
say stuff.
yeah. You can say stuff, and you think about all the stand-up comedians out there. They a lot of them have had tragic stories that they have then used humor to turn things around,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
it's definitely a wonderful coping skill. I think that it forces you to shift your mindset from focusing on the negative to focusing on what is light and funny and positive, possibly that you can find in that. I also wonder if in your Finding the Funny sessions, I think this is a good time to tell everybody that we're going to have you run these sessions for us in my brand new membership platform, Align, where we are going to have some deep work for our mind and spirit. And we're also going to have some light stuff like Finding the Funny and mandala art therapy. And the idea of bringing all of these amazing facilitators like yourself is to have people give people the toolbox with
Yeah.
all of the tools that they can use to then work on their mental and emotional fitness, right? Because we're not doing it enough. And when we don't do it enough, we're not processing our emotions and our feelings, and they get buried down, deep down, and then they come out as illness or heavy stress that is then impacting our health. And
Yes.
so I am super, super excited that you're going to be doing this. So thank you so much for saying yes.
Sure.
I have these posts going out saying, she said yes, she said yes. And that's my funny take on the whole thing. So maybe I am a little funny.
You are funny. Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. So tell us, when you do these Finding the Funny sessions, are you giving people prompts to think about how they can structure their kind of bit, so to speak?
Yeah. So in these, because this is going to be like once a week, so people aren't taking the 6 week class that I do, so they don't have to worry about coming up with a comedy act or anything.
Right.
It's more about, yeah, prompts, ways of thinking, rules of comedy, things that you can do in your life to just go, where I know there's funny in here somewhere, how do I
Yeah.
find it? How do I find something amusing? How to take, you know, for me, it's what happened this morning that did not go well. Where was
Mm,
the snafu? You
yeah.
know, and how could you talk about that in a way like you're in the sitcom?
Mm, I love
What
it.
would your character do?
Yeah.
Once again, it's like you're observing yourself being so human and
Yeah.
so fallible and so
Absolutely.
lovable that
And
there's,
relatable, right? Relatable, because we all, again, go through these things. Yeah.
yeah, and this is part of the human experience. It's not
Yeah.
all doom and gloom.
No. And it's not
Also,
all serious, and it's not all growth, and it's not all pain.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah. It's so important
and
to
you,
laugh.
yeah, and you can find it. It's sometimes people go, I don't want to make light of that. Well, don't make light of that. You don't have to, but
Yeah.
there could be something adjacent or a minute later or an hour later that allows your body really to release tension. That's how
Is
I
that
see it.
is
Akin to
that what
crying.
you yeah, sorry. Is that what you think laughter does? Releases tension?
Absolutely. I mean, they've said laughter is the best medicine, right? And one of the reasons they say that, from my perspective, is that like crying, like sighing, like dancing, shaking, moving, it's a way to release tension.
Mm,
Think about when people are laughing, oh, my belly hurts. I'm moving my body, literally moving my body. Sometimes I'm shedding tears. I'm laughing so hard because the body's releasing tension.
yeah.
So it's built into our biology.
Yeah. It's one of the best ways, I think, to release tension, right? Because I was
Yeah.
watching this video from a neurosurgeon, and he talks about how every night he makes sure that if he's watching TV, the only thing he's watching is comedy, because
Yes.
then he's building those neurons and increasing the
Yes.
neuroplasticity of his like positive brain
It's
cells, right?
it's literally a different part of your brain. When you're all tensed up, you're in the fight, flight, and freeze. You're in
Yeah.
the sympathetic nervous is part of the nerves, right? That's what's being
Yeah.
triggered. When you're laughing, when you're truly laughing and relaxed, you're telling your body you're okay,
You're
you're safe
safe.
moment.
Yes.
And that's the
Yeah.
parasympathetic part. So that's you want to be in that. That's the problem solving the part. You're not solving the problem and you're freaked out.
Yeah. So
And
good.
yeah, and I'm
So
thinking
good.
like when coach people, if I can have them cry, I'm not trying to make anyone feel anything, but I notice if someone starts to cry or they start to laugh, um, I'm like, okay, we're getting somewhere here
Mm,
because they can go into that part of their brain
mm, I love it.
that can see things a little differently.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me, in your Finding the Funny sessions, what is the transformation that you see typically? When someone walks in all like, I don't know if I can be funny. I don't know if I have any material. And then at the end, when they've done their little stand-up bit, what's the big
So at
transformation?
the end of the class, the 6 week class, the transformation I see is someone who's a lot more relaxed, someone who's a lot more confident because they
Mm,
do that show. They've done something they've never done before, right? Expressed their unique, I call it like a mosaic, like when your kid does an art project for you and it's like a little mosaic and it's them and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to treasure this forever. That's what you have with your 5 minute set is like, this is a little reflection of my life and a funny thing, and I'm going to share it with you.
mm,
And when you do that, uh, you and you're going out of your comfort zone, the rewards are you get freer, you get more confident. You go, what else in my life have I been putting off? Because I didn't think I could
Mm,
do it. The
wow.
possibilities start to grow.
Yeah.
You become more creative. I think
Mm,
laughing is about creativity. You start to
yeah.
see things from a different light. You start to go, I guess I am kind of like a character in a sitcom. I'm just struggling through all this stuff, but it's kind of hilarious. And okay, well, let's see what happens next.
Yeah.
You're more relaxed
Yeah. So
and more
powerful.
compassionate with yourself and with other people because you start to see other people as those funny characters too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if you think about it, it's so profound too, right? We are pretty much characters in our lives, just playing these roles. I always joke, I'm like, we're like puppets, like you can be a resistant puppet and say, I'm not moving anywhere. Or you can say, all right, let's go, life. Take me where you want to go. Let's see what the story is going to be, right? And let's open up
Exactly.
to the possibility.
Right. That famous Shakespeare quote, right? All life is a stage and we're all just player. I didn't say it right.
Absolutely.
We're all
Yeah.
like,
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
yeah.
I love this. Oh my God. I'm really getting so excited about having you do this. And I know that we're not going to put the pressure of doing a show, but maybe somewhere down the road, we can actually have people perform and
It
we can
maybe there's
see.
some regulars who want to get involved and do that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
amazing.
yeah. And we're going to have that session on a Friday afternoon. So Friday, finding the funny just feels right. And it's like the end of the week, you're tired, you're, exhausted, you're depleted, and all you can do is laugh about what happened. So
Yeah, and it may be as simple as that. People just go, I don't even know what to say. I just got to laugh because it's so ridiculous.
yeah. So good. So good. I've already laughed more in this recording than I have in the whole day today. So thank
Oh,
you for
good.
that. I'm excited. I can't wait to have people experience, the joy of laughter through your
Yeah.
prompts, through your teachings, through your experience, and through your compassion for them and for yourself. Can we I know I didn't prep you for this, but is there a way that we could demo a little something for people who are listening to give them a taste of what it might be like to be in that session on Fridays, Finding the
Sure.
Funny?
I kind of alluded to it before, but my shortcut sometimes is to just think about something that's happened today or yesterday within, something you can think about that where things were just not going the way you wanted it to go.
Mm,
Like things were you were fumbling, everything was going wrong. There was a miscommunication. You dropped your, coffee, whatever happened. And you look back on it, you go, okay, what if this was a character in a sitcom?
mm. So I'm
How would
thinking
that?
about my day. Let's see if we can demo this live. We'll see how it goes. It's already ridiculous. So why not? Right. I'm thinking about all the tech problems I've been having lately. And I feel like that might be good material. What do you think?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I'm just envisioning you with like wires and you're like, you
Oh, you
know,
have no idea. Right now, I have
steam coming out of your ears and
it's insane because I was telling you earlier, but I had this big talk at a corporation and it was online and I had to figure out my Zoom and I had to make sure the Wi-Fi was working. And so my husband actually took this giant wire from my computer and it's literally going through my living room into the kitchen and there's like trip hazards everywhere and we're telling everyone do not like trip over this.
my
And
gosh,
then it goes above my microwave into like this little cabinet where the router is. And so,
it's
yeah, this is what my
hilarious.
house looks like right now.
It's hilarious and it's inspiring. And I'm like, I'm sure a lot of women are going, that's an amazing husband that he's willing to
Oh,
do that.
for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. Yeah.
I love that.
He loves problems when I give them to him. He's always like the solution provider. So it's definitely,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but I love that whole scene. It's like, it's very human. It's like you have to kind of appear that you got it all together. Don't let them see your sweat. And you're like, but meanwhile, you've got this whole gerrymandered thing
Yeah.
going behind you. And you're like, what was that? That's nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm talking.
Yeah. Pretending like everything is, as per plan, going nice and smooth.
It
Yeah.
reminds me of that. I don't know if you remember this during COVID when everyone was, behind a screen and there was some guy who was a professor or something, and he was
Yeah.
doing like a very official like BBC
Yes.
interview. His kid comes
Kid
in.
what?
Remember that? And the wife is like, every parent was like,
Yeah. Because
yeah,
so real, right? It's so real. Like
So
and
real.
we live in a society where like we are so kind of pushed into this idea of perfection, and
Yes.
we're not allowed to make mistakes, and we're not allowed to
Yes.
show vulnerability, and that kind of, it just shatters all of that when you laugh about something like this, right? When you share
That's
that.
you get it. You
Yeah.
totally get it. It's about being completely yourself and not trying to be perfect because no one wants
Mm.
perfect, really. It
No, I think
doesn't
we're sick of it. Yeah, I think as a collective, we are done with
we're done.
perfection,
It was
right?
good. It was so when we had big shoulder pads or something. It's
Yeah,
a past thing.
yeah,
And now we're like, we want authentic. I think people are hungry for, oh wow, that person wasn't perfect, or
yeah,
wow. And they're okay with it. And they're
yeah.
okay with it. That maybe I can be okay with me too. We don't all have to be perfect.
Yes. Oh, you touched upon something so beautiful right now. So, what you're saying is this will not just help you laugh about the silly stuff in your life, but it will give you permission to be more authentic, be more you. And
Yeah.
really, I think at the bottom of everything is this desire to be seen and heard and
Yes.
appreciated as we are, and
Yes.
not having to put on these masks and these facades of who we need to be or we should be, or and you're right, the world is sick of
Sick
perfection
of
and fakeness, right? We want real, we want authentic. And so I'm so glad that we are going to be doing this with you in such a fun and hilarious way, because we need the laughter. We all do. So I'm so glad that you said yes to this.
And I have one more thing that I just wanted to add in there. As parents, as moms, one of the, for me, I wanted to be a perfect mom, which is, complete made up thing.
What is
Um,
that?
exactly. And what I realized with the laughter is that my kids don't want to see me trying to be perfect, because then it says to them they have to be perfect,
Yeah.
right? They want to see me happy. They want to see me relax. They want to see me rolling with stuff. They want to see me being creative, because then they go, "Oh, it's okay not to be perfect. Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
We can figure this out. Everything's figure outable. Oh, I don't have to have all of this, completely
Pressure. Yeah.
amazing all the time. I can be myself. I can walk around in fuzzy slippers. That's okay. I'm still going to be loved."
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what you
it gives
right?
you permission. It gives you permission, right? To be
Yeah.
to make mistakes, to be silly, to be goofy, to,
Yeah.
just enjoy life a little more,
Yeah, and
right?
that's what you want for your kids, because
Yes. What a
the
great role model, right? What a great thing to role model for them.
exactly. That's
Yeah,
because they're not gonna listen to your this, they listen to this. What are you
exactly.
showing them? What are you doing?
Yes. How can you be more you? I love it. I love
Yeah,
it. So fun. Oh my God. I can't wait. Finding the Funny is going to be every Friday at noon in a line. I'm going to post all the links below for everyone to check it out. And we are going to start your session in November, not October, because you're
yes,
traveling.
yes,
But I can't wait for people to experience this magic. And I'm so glad that the universe put us together in that room that day where we decided to make this happen. And I think it was
right?
all part of a bigger divine plan.
Thank you,
Um,
Ted.
Thank
Yes,
you, universe, for putting us together and bringing it together. And I think that we will be serving a huge need in the
yes,
world. And
yes,
so I look forward to having you there. I look forward to you sharing your magic with everyone, and having people laugh more and have some fun with life.
yeah,
Thank you so much for being
thank
here.
you,
Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Appreciate you so much.
thank you.